What's up, guys? Rich here again for Youth in Business TV. This is episode 4 of the online series. In this episode, I'm going to talk about being creative and being innovative when it comes to starting your business. Not just starting your business, but actually running your business. How you do things, how you think. When I say I want you guys to be innovative and be creative, what I mean is I want you guys to think outside of the box, okay, for a lot of the things that you do. I know I spoke about this in the Getting Started episode, but I'm going to actually just dedicate this whole episode to that subject, okay? So again, I'm going to just reiterate what I had said in the in the earlier episode, which is, you know, when you think creatively, you have a leg up against the guy who just thinks, you know, like a 9-to-5er thinks. You know, you just get up and you go through this mechanical process to, you know, get your day started, and you're going to work and you're doing what you got to do, and you're not really progressing, you know, in your life. You're not really trying to advance, you know, what you're doing. When you own your own business, you really can't do that. You can't stay in the same spot for very long. So to get out of that sort of everyday, you know, 9-to-5 grind, rut type of thing, you just have to be a little bit more creative, okay? I told you guys about my cousin. He, like I said, he started a tobacco store in upstate New York on an Indian reservation because there's a tax credit there. Now, instead of just renting a building, what he did was he ended up just building a little structure on my aunt's property in upstate. So he didn't have to pay any rent. He still got the tax credit. He still got to operate his little cigar shop from the reservation. So that's really kind of keen thinking like that. Another story I heard about is there was a what do you call them? Like the diving or the swimming nose plugs. Maybe you guys have heard about this one. It's a little bit more a little bit well known, a little bit better known. There was a guy who there was a company that went out of business, and they sold swimming nose plugs, you know, the plugs to hold your nose closed when you swim. And so they sold their plugs for like $1.50 each or something like that. So this guy bought as many of those things as he could buy. He bought, you know, truckloads of those. And when they went out of business, of course, they weren't for sale anymore. So the demand was very high, but the supply was very low. And he controlled the supply. So he charged like $7 or $8 a pair, and he, you know, tripled his money, doubled his money, something like that. So it's things like that that really are going to set you aside in business, okay? Because like I said, in any business, you're always going to have competition. You know, you're always going to be the little guy. You're not always going to be the little guy, but when you start out, you're going to be the little guy, and there's always going to be that big business that is likely, you know, taking a lot of your customers, a lot of your clients, a lot of your business away. So when you think in a different way, you kind of figure out how to get in there, and then you can really get going in your business. I want to tell you guys about my business when I first started. I know it seems like every episode I'm doing this, but I think it's relevant to this topic. When I first started my business, it was closet remodeling, of course, as you know, and I didn't have a lot of supplies. I think I told you guys that in the beginning I used to go to like Home Depot and Lowe's and just buy all their supply material, it worked, but it became very expensive. The markup on those companies charge more for their materials, so when I buy it from them and sell it to the customer, I don't make as much as when I buy directly from a supplier. So what I did was, it was, I think, what year was it? 2009. It was when the economy had just crashed, and it was really it wasn't even starting to come back. It was really at its low point. I mean, it crashed, and then it was like down there for a while. So all the big Circuit City chain stores, they all went out of business. And I don't know if you guys know what Circuit City is. I don't know where you're watching this, but it's like an electronics store. They sell a lot of computers, electronics, those types of things. So when the Circuit Cities went out of business, what they had was stock rooms, because it's a warehouse store. So they had a big stock room in the back, and they have these metal racks with particle board shelving, 4x8 shelving, and they just have stacks of those things in the back, and they stack all their computers and their chairs and their, whatever they have. They have those stacked there. So I heard about a guy who was, I think he called himself a recycler or something like that. He would buy up old Circuit City buildings and totally scrap everything. He would scrap all the metal shelving. He would scrap, I don't think he scrapped any of the products, because they did something with those. But what he had was a lot of sheets of particle board. So I got a hold of him and I said, hey, I do closetry, and this was in the Bay Area. I'm in Sacramento. It's about a 2-hour drive. And I said, hey, let me buy, can I buy some of those particle board sheets? So I came out and checked them out, and he sold them to me for like really cheap. They sell for about $25 a sheet at Home Depot. And then he was selling them to me for like $7.50 a sheet. So that's a lot less. That's like a third as much. So what I did was I took those, cut them, painted them, routed them, did my thing, and I got really cheap materials. So that's kind of being creative, kind of being different. And for a long time, that's all I did for my material stock. I just would go to this guy. I found another guy, San Jose. He had stacks of the stuff. He probably to this day still has some of those stacks. There's no way he could have sold them all. So I would go to him, and he sold even cheaper. He sold them to me for $3 a sheet. $3 a sheet. I mean, my material cost at that time was like almost nothing. I bought those sheets of material. I bought some paint, and then I charged my regular price. So it was a real big markup on that. Big profit margin. So that's how I got started. That's really how I started to make my name, was that I could do those jobs for a lot less than the big name companies, because I had an in with the materials, So the last thing I want to talk about in this episode, hopefully we're going to make this a short episode, but what I really want to talk about is a very controversial topic, and I think you guys are going to like it. And that is, in business, there are certain rules, okay? But if you guys want to get ahead when you're first starting out, you are going to have to break those rules, okay? And what I'm talking about is, in your county, in your district, in your city, state, there are certain laws, okay, for what you can and can't do, and you pretty much are going to have to break those laws. You're going to have to do things that you don't really want to let the cops know about. You don't want to let the man know about. But that's how you're going to get ahead in your business. Okay. I will tell you right now, I would not be where I am today if I followed every rule and regulation that's set on me in the state of California, because California is riddled with laws and codes and all these types of things. Now, don't go crazy with that, okay? That may have been bad advice, but I don't think so, because I want you guys to do what you have to do within reason. Okay, you can't have overseas accounts, in other countries. That's a big no-no. You definitely don't do that. What else? Don't do anything ridiculous, like rip people off or steal from big name companies or anything like that. You definitely don't do that. What I'm saying is, an example for me is some of the trades that I'm associated with. You can get your license in that, but you can only practice your trade in your city or your county. and or if you want to go work outside of your county or even really your state, you have to get like a temporary license or something like that. You have to get some type of certification. And when you first start out, you need to get as much business as you can, okay? Because you can't sit around and do one job a month. That's not going to get it done. That's not going to pay your bills. So when jobs come along, when you know what I'm saying, when jobs come along and they're out of state, they're out of county, you don't have the proper certification, and your client's like, hey, are you going to come and do this, because you've got till the 13th and it's it's the 9th or something like that. Sometimes you just got to go. You got to do it. You got to get it done, Definitely do that. Every time people ask me, what's the biggest piece of advice you would give to someone just starting a business, I always say the same thing. Break as many rules as you can get away with, okay? So, like I said, don't do anything that's crazy. Don't do anything that's going to get you in serious trouble. But yes, do break the rules. The way I look at it, these rules are put in place and were put in place for the big name companies, okay? The Walmarts of the world, the Enrons, the big name companies that, the Bernie Madoff kind of guys, okay? Rules are put so that they don't mess with, the world and the economy and things like that. When you're a little guy and when again you start out your business, you're definitely going to be a small operation. You're not going to hurt people. You're not out there to rip anyone off. You're not there to make a giant profit year one at the total expense of someone else. At least you shouldn't be. So if you break a few rules, tell a few white lies, that's not going to do that's not going to do harm to anyone. That's just you trying to get your foot in the door. Okay. Again, I can't stress enough that this is not me telling you guys to go crazy, go rob people, go steal cars for a living. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that to get established, to get forward in your business endeavor, you sometimes have to break the rules. You sometimes have to break the law. I mean, like I said, I've done it a million times. I'm not going to tell you what I've done, okay? Because that would be incriminating. This is videotaped, so I'm not going to do that. But I've done it. And I probably will continue to do it. Now, I'm not talking about things like not being up to code, because I do construction, you guys know that. I'm not talking about things like, paying off an inspector so that you don't have to worry about being, under code. No, don't do stuff like that. That would probably fall into the category of an extreme crime, because that's when people get hurt. You know what I mean? If you build a walkway, a raised walkway, and it's not up to code, and you pay the guy off, and you're buddies with him, and that thing collapses and hurts people, that's on you. That's definitely something that you're not going to want to do. But doing the little things is probably okay. So again, this was episode 4, web series Youth in Business TV. I'm going to send you guys links to the first episode if you just came into the series, episode 4. Skip on back to episode 1, check it out, see what it's like. Follow, okay, like, comment, send me emails. I'm going to say it again, guys. If you want to be on the series, if you guys want to have your voices heard and actually have your content played on the series, let me know, and I'll definitely get that going for you. Okay, so thanks for watching. It's been great, and I will see you guys soon.